The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily representative of the coalition or any other entity. This content is intended for mature audiences only.
What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 151. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? Things are looking a little bit different around here.
What is this? Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo.
Brian Manjoma.
What's up, people?
And Adam Vale.
What's up?
All right, Throwdown 151, the first episode on Twitch Live.
Yeah, boy.
Yo, man, that's crazy, you know? So tonight we're being joined by our fellow YouTubers and the Twitch people. Very, very exciting, man. Good stuff. And Manny, I see what you're talking about when it comes to the sides. Like, every time I click on you guys' names, right, the menu pops up, but it's covered up.
Yep,
So
that's the way it said it. So you can go and check in the little things. The only thing you can't open up is the little chat window that pops up. But yeah, everything's all nice and covered on the sides.
Yeah, but since this is new, I just realized because normally I would look at things on my computer as we're doing this. Can't do that anymore, so that means I need to look at the show notes on my phone. So give me a second, please. But while we're doing that, I want to give a big thank you to Mr. Malik Forte, who joined us last week for episode 150 of Throwdown, which is fucking awesome.
Good stuff. It's always a pleasure to see Malik on the show.
You know, we also had our boy Riku-san1, who was one of the founders of Throwdown, be on that episode. And we also had Mr. Richard Bailey Jr. joining us for episode 150 of Throwdown Your Questions, man.
It's a triple whammy right there.
You know, Throwdown, man, that's how we do it, man. By the way, tonight we were supposed to have All Gamer Lives Matters, but he was busy working, so we'll try to get him on next week, you know. But yeah, Throwdown, man, that's what it's all about. You know,
it's one of those things that just happens. You know, sometimes people just can't show. So,
hey, listen, man, you got to make your money. You got to make your money.
Make your money.
All right. Again, I'm just vamping slightly. Okay, so tonight actually let's try something new. So tonight, we're gonna talk about, we're gonna give you our impressions of Tokyo Game Show. Right, that's the main topic. Then we're gonna talk about Phil Spencer's promotion, which is kind of interesting. We're gonna talk about how for a brief moment there was crossplay between PS4 and Xbox One. We're also going to talk about a nice tribute to Iwata hidden inside of every Switch. And I'm going to give you my impressions of Doom and Skyrim on Switch, as well as the new... I keep forgetting the name of the game. Evil Within 2. So I'm going to give you impressions of all of that nonsense, man. So let's start off right, man. Tokyo Game Show this year happened, as always, and... I'll wait. Man, why don't you start us off with TS? What were some of the highlights for you, man?
Well, hold on for a sec. Let me just pull something up.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, we're trying some new shit here. I love the fact that when the menu comes up, you guys at home don't see this shit, you know?
So yeah.
Tokyo Game Show.
Yo. So, it's this year, obviously, unlike E3, there's not always those megatons, but there's those little fun things that kind of help you out, and kind of are interesting. So far what we saw, this was during the Sony press conference, which was like wall-to-wall trailers, which, obviously they kind of do it a little bit different than the Western guys do it. But, for what we saw there, we saw that Konami announced Zone of Enders Second Runner HD VR, which is kind of nutty. Yeah, so essentially it's another HD remaster of Zone of Enders 2, but this one you can play the whole game in VR mode. So everything. So the way they have the screen set up is that you look like you're in the cockpit, and then what it does is so that you know what moves that you're doing. It actually has a little Jehoti like hologram in the right corner so that you can just kind of see what it's doing. So it's a cool idea. I mean, granted, it's like, I don't know, what 20-year-old game, more than that. And obviously it can run in 4K because it doesn't have a lot going on in the background. So, and I think the game's running in 60, which is interesting. The other thing was
I got a quick question for you. Can you play that game without the VR nonsense?
Yes, you can.
Okay, good to
You
know.
can play it in VR, which allows you to play the full game in VR, and then it also allows you to play it outside of VR.
Okay, that's good to know.
One of the things I did notice is that they didn't show any of the cinematics, the animated cinematics in the game, and which leads me to one of two things. They're either redoing all the cutscenes, with 3D graphics, or they're just using those old 2D cinematics from the original version of the game. So I think they're using those, and they just don't want to show them because they're kind of low res. Especially watching them in 4K, it's going to be pretty. The next one, which was
your favorite.
Which is kind of a fun, crazy thing. Which is this new game by Square Enix. What was the name of that game again?
Left Alive.
What was that?
Left Alive.
Last of Life, which is
Or Left Alive.
Left Alive.
Is
yeah.
it Left? Is it, I don't know the name of it. It's I call it the Shinkawa game. That's what
Shinkawa game. Yeah, that one's an interesting one because as you know, Shinkawa works with Kojima Productions, and all of a sudden, hey, look, he's doing this game, but obviously it's probably some sort of freelance project, kind of like what he did with Call of Duty and what he did with with the Wonder Woman comic book. So I think it's kind of cool that Kojima's kind of letting his people kind of explore their different sorts of things, outside of the company, especially somebody like Shinkawa who has a style that's so iconic and his design work is so iconic. Why wouldn't you let him go and do some other things while you're waiting for shit to happen?
Yeah. I wonder if Konami had him held down, as far as shit.
Well, if you know anything about Japanese studios, yeah. The only games that you ever did see, there are a couple of games that he did do artwork for, and those were just Konami games. Like he did some sort of crazy samurai game that was only released in Japan. He did the cover art for it. But yeah, you would never see while he was working at Konami, you would never see any of his artwork on anything but Konami, or maybe like a special promotion with something that's not game related. But I'm sure the way Japanese studios are, they just kind of, do it that way. So,
One interesting note about Left Alive is that at the end, it's a Square Enix game, right? So, the end, it showed the only platforms was Steam and PS4, PlayStation.
Yeah.
So why no Xbox? Curious.
Steam VR. That's what it said. Steam VR.
Yeah, but he's wondering why no Xbox? Why no
Yeah,
Xbox?
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, in Japan, PlayStation's kind of top dog, so they're not going to waste their time with that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm sure that's why a lot of those things on there, and they kind of know, they kind of have a sense of which things would go on Xbox and which one, What was the other? There's quite a bit of other kooky things that were happening there, but yeah, those are some of the ones that showed up in the Sony press conference.
Yeah,
you guys saw anything?
Yeah, for me, the big one, and it started off as a rumor earlier that week. Dragon's Crown for PS4.
Oh yeah,
very big news,
Dragon's
especially and when the rumor came out, I was like, I hope to Zeus that it's actually crossplay. You know what I'm saying? Because remember the original Dragon's Crown, you could start off on the PS3. Then move on to Vita and then back and forth. You could do it with all three systems now. Fucking amazing,
Yeah,
so
super cool.
The
other one.
I know you like Dragon's Crown too, man.
Yeah, it was good. I had it on PS3, but I was impressed that it had crossplay with Vita. That's stuff that should have happened way more often.
Oh, what's even cooler? That's a good transition. What's even cooler about this one is this game you can play with people on Vita. And you can play with the PlayStation 3 people.
Yo, man, it's crazy.
Yeah,
so all three of them. I don't know. I think also maybe you can continue your save from each one too, which is kind of nutty.
Yeah, Sony, they have crossplay with their own systems, but not with other people. We're going to talk about that later.
They play nice with the other guys.
That was cool. And then Vanillaware has another new game, like 13 something or other. I don't know what's going on in that game. All I know is Vanillaware, so I'm down, And also for me, I went crazy. Virtual On is coming back, man. Like after
Virtual On.
Oh my God, man. Oh, hold on, I'm down right now. Okay, apparently, and I didn't know this, there was a virtual on game for PS2. I didn't know about that shit. So the last virtual on game I played was the one on Sega Saturn in the 90s. So seeing this shit, I'm like, oh my God, I've been waiting 20 years for another virtual on, man. Very, very excited about that shit, you know? Woo, boy, can't wait. And there was something else. They showed some more, Fist of the North Star, which you already know, man. You already know. I need that shit. Yeah, right. You are shock. Can't wait for that shit. And I think that's pretty much like. And then again, the Shinkawa game. I was like, the fuck is that shit? It looks like Metal Gear. And apparently I learned that it's actually set in the Front Mission Evolved universe. I'm like, who the hell's remember Front Mission? You know?
Wow. Yeah, Front Mission.
I never played any of the Front Mission games.
Neither have I. I don't know. Like, I know about it. And by the way, it's actually Front Mission. I keep calling it Front Mission Evolved because that's the name of the very last game that ever came out. This episode actually called it Tokyo Game Show Evolved. That's a little bit of a nod there.
There was also there was the bug game, Earth Defense Force.
Yeah,
so it's weird. They showed two of them. They showed it looked like the previous Earth Defense Force, right? For like maybe PlayStation 3 or something like that, or PlayStation 2. Or it's a weird one. PlayStation 3, and then they showed and then they showed another one later on in the thing, which looked like Super HD version, and everything looked like like destructible backgrounds and all kinds of other crazy shit. So I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to Jeffrey, who's watching us on Twitch. Jeffrey, we will talk about Android 21. Don't worry about it. So what's I going to say again? Yeah, Virtual On was also, this was just announced today. It's going to be one of the playable arcade games inside of Yakuza Kiwami 2, man.
That is awesome. I cannot wait for that.
So that's cool. But other than that, Joey says he has to go later, man. Yeah, don't kill yourself. He's driving, listening to this shit.
Yeah.
Yo, you can watch this again when you get home, bro. And where you could change to your alter ego, a fan of Ash. I know who you are, man. What's I gonna say again? So, but I also need to address this, right? Monster Hunter, right? Because I saw some people, Manny, you and I talked about this. People were complaining, like, why are they devoting so much time to Monster Hunter? You have no idea how big Monster Hunter is in Japan, bro.
Yeah, dude, yeah. Prince money, man.
Damn right.
And not only this, a regular Monster Hunter game would have already been big, but this is a brand new one with a brand new engine, new mechanics, new everything. So people are fucking hyped. That's why they have that special edition console over there.
Yeah.
And you know me, guys, I'm not into Monster Hunter. I want to buy this shit. I can't wait.
They're doing a lot of really cool stuff. Essentially, they're not using that dirt old PlayStation 2 game from like 20 years ago. They actually went in and made a whole new game from the ground up, as opposed to just rehashing and retexturing the last game. I mean, the one for the Switch, that game is. That's just the last iteration from like the Wii or Wii U.
Yeah,
just retextured for the Switch.
This shit is not though. This is something else completely.
That's all new. There's all new classes inside of there. Chris, I know you will be happy. There's characters with guns now.
They got guns now, man.
They got guns.
That's like, hey, listen, I was gonna get me to play it because I'm like, you got guns in that bitch? Okay.
Oh, I got big guns.
They also look like they went with a lot faster of a battle system.
Yeah.
So like before it was like it was more like things were very heavy and weighted and stuff, kind of like the way Bloodborne is, where it's like you have a big sword and it's really slow. This one looks like they're kind of like Final Fantasy swords, like you'd flip them around and jump in the air and do all kinds of combos, which I think would make the game a little bit more appealing to general people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So that's pretty awesome. Chris, what do you think of TGS, man? What were some of the highlights for you, man?
I'm just impressed that they changed Monster Hunter at all. They were all cookie cutter.
Yep.
Those people ate that up. Every Monster Hunter was the same freaking game, So it's good to see that. The Left Alive, I was surprised at because I didn't see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
I thought all those guys were on Death Stranding and that was it. I thought that was the fission of everybody from Konami that worked with Kojima and everybody there who didn't want their LinkedIn ruined for life, So
I think at least with somebody like Shinkawa, I'm sure that I think he's one of the guys that kind of helped start that company. So I'm sure you're seeing like this game is not the only thing we've seen new from him.
Oh
Like,
no, yeah.
like
No, I just didn't know he was doing it. It was very quiet until now.
I think also like for a lot of it, they're probably waiting for the tech guys to kind of get the engine up and running. Like granted, he did all the different designs and stuff like that, and he has to approve everything, but he still also has to wait for people to do shit. So I mean, there was a good. Who knows how long ago that Shinkawa actually started working on this? Because I mean, I know that after they finished, after they had that while where they weren't really doing anything. So maybe he's like, hey, you know what? I don't know what's coming up. I'm going to take this Square Enix gig for a little bit while we get the company up and running.
I wonder if Brett will get into Monster Hunter because they announced that DLC there for stories.
Yeah, maybe, right?
Yeah, it's got Zelda in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Switch, right?
Yeah, the Switch one. I think Link isn't part of the deal. It's just called Legend of Zelda DLC. I didn't actually see it. I know that's in there.
Yeah, what else, man? What else did you see? Because, and I'll get to my kind of negatives in a little bit, but what else did you catch from there, man?
That was pretty much it. Like, I mean, I don't care about Sonic Forces, so I know I saw that, and they were like, oh, look, Shadow, and I was like, oh, who cares?
Yeah, whatever, Let's just be real here. Who cares, Yeah. We got Sonic Mania, man. We're good,
Yeah, it's classic. So, so Death Stranding is what, holiday next year? Was that confirmed or?
Was it? I didn't see anything about Death
No,
Stranding.
I didn't see
No,
it
it's
in
not
there.
there.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought there was something about.
Chris, you made up your own Tokyo Game Show, man.
Yeah, maybe I dreamed it.
A better one, because this one was a little bit kind of just being
It was
real.
right. Other than that, yeah, the other stuff I really didn't care about. I didn't pay attention to much else.
Yeah. Yeah, like, a lot of us had to stay up till like 3 a.m., to watch this shit.
Yeah.
Not worth it. I could have just waited until I could have waited to hear about Virtual On in the morning.
They also did their little re-release of Final Fantasy IX for PlayStation 4.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
They
that
announced,
came out in all markets. That was the funny thing. I thought it was
yeah.
just going to be in Japan.
No, it's for everything. They also announced the what's his face from the latest Final Fantasy in the Dissidia game.
Oh, Noctis.
There's all this. Noctis. They put him in there. It's a kind of a weird thing like that. They're I noticed we saw a little bit more VR stuff at the Tokyo Game Show than we actually did at E3, where there was obviously the Zone of Enders game. There's also that someone like you could watch movies or watch concerts in VR, which is kind of.
I'll say this: like Japan has embraced it way more. Here, it's dead. I agreed with Tony. Like here, it's dead. It's dead as like 3D TVs. You might as well put them together. Over there, though, they embrace it. They're using it for different stuff. They're gonna apply it to everything: medicine, porn, whatever.
Nice.
Especially the Japanese. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, man. They nearly killed each other to get to that porn simulator last year.
I heard about that. I heard about that, boy.
So yeah,
nice.
But let's quickly talk about Dragon Ball Fighter Z. They announced 3 new fighters. One of them is actually really fucking new, But before we get to that, Manny, your boy's in it, man.
Yo, man, Yamcha Chichala.
That's creepy.
So yeah, he's probably my favorite character from the Dragon Ball Z series. One, I know everybody's like, oh man, he dies so quickly, but if you think about it, just think about it. He's a normal dude. Like not a normal dude, but he's essentially on the level of like he's stronger than most people out there, and he's kind of held up against some of those things. But it's like once they got into Super Saiyan battles, in the later stuff, obviously he couldn't keep up. But it's nice to see him in there. He's always a cool, fun character. Yo, man, why is Gohan always stealing my dude's hairdos,
though? So, yeah, you got him. You got Tenshin Han. He's in there.
Tenshin Han, yeah.
And his assist is Chaozu,
Yep. And I wonder if Yamcha has Puar. They didn't say that.
Yeah, they didn't say that. And then, interestingly enough, they got a brand new character called Android 23. Now, her whole backstory is that she's supposedly smarter or as smart as Dr. Gero, and she was designed by Akira Toriyama. Basically, Bandai Namco, they came up with the idea of her, right? Then they told Akira Toriyama about it, and he did his design on that. And obviously, when people, saw the picture of her, because let's just be honest, she's kind of thick, they went crazy. Like, this is amazing, And even Bandai Namco got in on the act. They were like, "Hey, here's the story trailer for Dragon Ball Z. The plot thickens." I'm like,
Well,
you know the thing is that Akira Toriyama never made his characters thin.
No, he never did. Always, even Bulma.
Like they're always even Bulma's kind of. Yeah, she's kind of. They're all kind of. All the women are in the things are kind of chunky. I guess the thinnest looking one is probably Android, blonde-haired Android. I can't remember.
18. Yeah.
Yeah, Android 18. But yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. So, and this game is going to have like an actual story mode too, and it's like an Elseworlds type of story or something like that. So that's kind of cool too. I'm down with that, man. Very good stuff.
I'm surprised.
Which probably explains the state of some of the characters in the thing. Like, how is it that Cell and a lot of the other characters exist?
Yeah.
Cell was dead. Cell was dead by the time Majin Buu came around.
Yeah. Go ahead, Carlos. What were you gonna say?
I'm still just surprised that this game doesn't come out till next year. Like, there was like the beta came out this week, and then like
yeah, and you know how I got down on that, man.
Yo, man, we said check out that stream if you haven't, man. It's on the channel. Yo, that game is so fire, man. I want to play it so bad, man.
Yo, like I said, man, Bandai Namco, they're trolls, man, because they put out that fucking thing, the beta, during the same weekend where they knew motherfuckers were reviewing Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Yeah.
Some they're trying to write my review, and I'm like thinking about Dragon Ball. I'm like, I'm gonna play some more, man. This shit's crazy right now. Hype for that game. Like, I think most of us in here are gonna get this game, which is interesting because none of us really like Dragon Ball Z games. Let's just be real.
Yeah. Most of even going back to the Super Nintendo, most Dragon Ball Z games are pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of, they mostly depend on the fact that they're a Dragon Ball Z game. That's pretty much it, But it looks like the Arc System Works, at least for this game, they really wanted to do something, like that felt like those older games, but kind of, was just like their pedigree of games. I mean, Arc System Works makes such great fighting games. I mean, a lot of them, some of them haven't even come out here. Like, they did an amazing, like a while ago, they did a really great A Fist of the North Star game. They did Persona 4 Arena. There's a lot of games that they did. Obviously they do the Guilty Gear game, so they got a lot of good stuff. And speaking of Arc System Works, there's another game that's getting a little bit of a something. So this game is called Blaze Blue Cross Tag, and obviously you know what that probably means, right? It means it's a tag. It's a tag game.
It means X gonna give it to you.
Yes. So what's kind of cool about this game is that they've only announced a few characters so far, but it's the main character from Blaze Blue, the guy in the red. I can't remember the dude's name. Then what's his face from Persona 4? The Persona 4 protagonist who's in Persona 4 Golden Arena, right? And then there's this character which is not even a video game character. You've heard of her before? Heard of this show before? Ruby? Anybody heard of it? It was like a CG show that was made by the guys.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was okay. I'll give you a little history on Ruby. Ruby was actually made by this guy who used to make these really awesome fight scenes with video game characters. If you remember on game trailers, there used to be these little things like it'll have like Samus versus Samus versus Master Chief, and he just would totally animate it in CG with the video game models. So eventually he got his own show on Rooster Teeth. And it did really well. Unfortunately, he actually passed away not very long ago. But
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so Rooster Teeth still advertises it, but they obviously haven't continued the show yet. But they decided she's going to be in this game, so which opens the door. How many other characters are we going to see in this game? Remember, Arc System Works. I think Arc System Works. I think is its own company. but they also do a lot of work with Sega and all that kind of other stuff, right? So who's to say that they might not have a friggin' famous Sega character in there or any other property that they've kind of done stuff with?
You know who you won't see in there? Any
Who?
Capcom character.
No, you probably won't see any Capcom guys.
Yeah, that's true, man.
But yeah, and the thing about this game is that they're actually doing, like, the new Guilty Gear game is obviously 3D characters, but this one is pure 2D, like high resolution sprites. So they're making totally new sprites for this. So they're like, we didn't forget about the past.
Yeah, these guys are saying Monty
Oh, that was the guy who created it for Rooster Teeth. Yeah, the series.
Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah, he died a couple years.
He died really kind of like, I think he went in for some operation and just died or something like that. It was very sad.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else Tokyo Game Show shit? Carlos, I know you must have seen something, man.
I saw like the monster stuff. Like that was pretty good. Like Chris said, like I'm surprised they even changed that shit. I played it for the 3DS. Like the only difference with that game was that you can use the little thumbstick with the new 3DS model, and that's like the big thing that they were promoting and stuff. Other than that, what was that game called?
C-stick.
Yeah, screw that shit, man.
You're so good. Oh.
Yeah, what was that game called again? The one Manny was talking about.
What, the Shinkawa game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget the name, but yeah, we know what you're talking about.
Left Alive.
Yeah.
That looked pretty good.
Left Alive, you know why it's confusing? It sounds like Left 4 Dead. You know?
Yeah, I was like, it's like left something or alive something, and I'm like, there's so many games that contain those letters that I'm just confused. But anyways, it was just a teaser trailer, but it looked pretty good. Like the world building looked real. So
they actually did release another more extensive trailer showing some gameplay.
Yo, man, they got guns
here and there. Yep, they got guns.
Yeah, see, Adam, your eyes lit up, man.
I love me some guns.
Yo, but they didn't show the extended trailer where they showed dinosaurs and guns.
Yeah.
Oh, what the?
Dinosaurs using guns.
Dinosaurs
funny?
using guns, man.
I had a conversation with somebody today, and he was like, "Yo, I love this game called Ark," and I was like, "Yeah, dinos, right?" He's like, "Oh yeah, don't you like it?" I'm like,
"You're like, I gotta go."
But wait, I want to tell you my experience. I was like, I don't need to know your experience.
Oh shit!
It got dinos in it.
This man was excited to tell you to
Yeah,
share.
he was hyped. He was telling me, he was like, "Yeah, you start off where you get dropped into this world, and you don't know what's going on, and then you got these dinosaurs, and then you got to go all MacGyver on them and shit." I'm like, "Nope."
Yeah. Daniel J wants to know, what about Code Vein? What about Code Vein?
Oh, yo, that Dark Souls looking game.
Yep.
Oh, rain.
I gotta look up more about that one, for sure.
Yeah, I think I heard it, but isn't Code Vein the old game, or am I confusing with something else?
No, it's not. It's not old.
It's a remake.
Is it a remake?
I'm pretty sure. I remember hearing Cold Vein before. I thought this was a remake.
See, because I think I'm confusing it with Code Geass.
Code Geass or Vampire Rain. Or...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All these names sound the same.
Oh, remember Vampire Rain? That game sucked ass.
Yeah, Vampire Rain was trash.
Man.
That's a game Hip Hop Gamer did not like.
It's the only one.
You know, and actually he didn't like a Cold Step Saga either. You know, remember that shit? Honey's game, he says Demon Gaze.
I just have some questions.
Sorry.
It was like, what the fuck?
What? There was a Seven Deadly Sins game. I didn't see that.
Seven Deadly Sins. Yeah, no, was it? No, I don't know. I don't remember the game.
I need to check that out then.
That's fake news.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Brian, did you see anything from out of Tokyo Game Show, man?
Not really. I didn't really catch anything exciting. Nothing really caught my eye. That whole game that you and Manny seems like really liking, the Shinkawa game.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not really anything.
Nothing.
There's nothing there. I'm not. Here's the thing. I never really. Yeah, I never really said that I really liked it. I'm interested, but not really like.
You like it. You like it.
The most amazing game ever.
You like it.
You see the artwork.
No, I mean, here's the thing.
Brian knows. He knows what's up.
Tell the truth, man.
No, it's not.
I see through it.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. Just because I like the
Yeah.
art style or designer of a game doesn't exactly mean that I will
No.
throw a caution, unless it's a Metal Gear game made by made by Hideo Kojima. If he somehow came back to do it, yes, I would jump on that shit. But in this sort of situation, obviously, I really like the artwork to this game, and I think it's an interesting idea. But again, there's a good chance I may not like it, but I'm interested.
Well, you'll know if you like it if you buy it.
Well, no, I'm probably going to wait. I'll wait for my spider sense to kick in and say, hey, this is something that you want. But right now, we haven't really seen anything. We just saw a couple of seconds of gameplay. We saw a character that looked like Vulcan from Metal Gear Solid 3. At this point in time, and granted, it's the director from Armored Core doing this game, but, bated breath.
Yeah,
Oh,
Brian, wink, wink, right? We know what's up, man.
You know, man. Like, you like it. You see the artwork, you're like, I like this.
I saw.
And that's
Listen,
it.
I only
It's
saw
fine.
one.
Hey.
There's only one picture and a couple of design things, and all of a sudden that means I'm going to buy the game. Seriously,
We know you pre-ordered.
You know
that
you
shit.
got that shit on
No.
pre-order, you know?
I'm more excited to play Monster Hunter. To be honest.
What?
Oh,
That's a shooter.
By the way, that's two things you never thought you heard anybody say on Throwdown. We're excited for Dragon Ball. We're excited for Monster Hunter. The world doesn't make sense anymore. Anyway, Brian, what else, man?
No, I didn't. Not anything that I remember. Nothing really.
So
You
I
know,
checked-
you said on
You know what
Kagura
happened
games,
though,
so-
right? Because they didn't
okay.
announce a new sent on Kagura game, so you were like,
Exactly.
man, I'm good.
I checked out the Seven Deadly Sins demo. It didn't look. It's a fighting game. Looks like there's going to be a shit ton of characters. I don't know where they're going to get them like all from, but it kind of looks generic to me.
Isn't Seven
It's-
Deadly Sins the game made by Akira? Like the guy, the former Capcom guy? I think that's the game. I could be wrong. Because they were this entire time he was been calling Akira's fighting game. I'm like, that doesn't tell me anything, you know?
I don't know. It doesn't say in the trailer. It doesn't show anything regarding who made it. It doesn't even say the studio.
Damn. Okay, I need to check this out. The Seven Deadly Sins. Again, another generic ass name, man.
Well, no, that's based off the anime.
Oh, okay. I'll let that go. I was like, isn't that a fucking anime?
Yeah, we covered it in
Man.
Otanime.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, no, I'm thinking about a different fighting game altogether. Then there's a lot of fighting games this year. Shit.
Yeah, man.
yeah.
It's hard to like look past like Marvel vs. Capcom's coming out this year. DBZ Fighter.
we could look
Everybody
past
is
that.
hyped for that.
By the way, your boy is an idiot. I played that game for a week. Didn't realize you could turn off all the fucking combos, man. When I turn all that shit off, it plays the way it's supposed to play. Now I really like the game. You know what I'm saying? Character designs are still shit, obviously, but it plays like it's supposed to. You know, just turn all that shit off, you'll be good. You know, and I suspect that during tournaments they're gonna disallow that shit either. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, if you play online, you won't know. You could have an MLG guy with that shit turned on, he'll fuck you up. You know. Anyway, anything else about Tokyo Games? Adam, do you see anything that caught your eye?
Nope. But, I mean, the Monster Hunter, sort of, because I like Monster Hunter. I have it for the 3DS and stuff. But besides that, nothing really.
It was a kind of lackluster show. Let's just be honest, man.
It really was.
Like I saw some dudes that got hyped, but I'm like, what are you getting hyped for, man? You know?
Yeah, there was really nothing. I mean, last year we had, of course, Persona. That was the big thing, you know. But now that's out.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. All right. I think that's pretty much going to do it for our Tokyo Game Show. So, a kind of meh year, to be honest, but can't win them all, I guess. I think the only Tokyo Game Show that I got me hyped ever was like 2 years ago. We even had Riku on the show for that. It was a crazy ass show. Oh, by the way, I need to say this. You notice how for the first time in that I could recognize, no Vita shit at all. They had Vita games, but you didn't see the actual system on the screen. It was PS4, PS4 Pro, and VR. That's it. You know, that's crazy, man. So
it shows, you know, it's coming to the end.
pour one out, man. Pour one out.
Yeah, it's a
All right,
matter of time.
let's move on, man. Let's get to some news here. So, Mr. Phil Spencer has gotten a promotion.
Well, boy.
So
Whoa, Spency.
So he's going to be sitting at the big boys table now with the other Microsoft executives, which means that gaming is going to be having a stronger presence than it already does. Because remember, we've kind of been thinking like is Microsoft just gonna like just merge Xbox with gaming, Windows gaming, and that's it? But with this, it's gonna give Phil a little bit more power to move the brand forward. Obviously, now he's in charge of Xbox and Windows gaming and all of that shit.
I think there's going to be somebody else. I think that's too much.
What do you mean?
I think there's going to be somebody else to help him. I mean, if he's playing both roles, I mean, this promotion sounds like he's going to be busy doing other meetings and doing other events.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the other question people have brought up because they haven't talked about any replacement. Who is now the head of Xbox? It seems like Phil Spencer's just doing all of it now. So you're right.
No.
That's a little too much.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I mean, remember we talked about this like a couple of weeks ago. What if Microsoft is leaning towards becoming just a service?
Yeah. So, but the thing is,
they wouldn't have made new hardware.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have done that. That would have been a waste.
So, do you think Phil Spencer getting hired as he's a executive vice president of Microsoft now? Do you think that's gonna like mean that it won't just be a service? It'll actually still be consoles and shit.
For now,
I don't know. Well, he'll definitely have a say on it now, more than he did before, because it's all merged up. Like, I just hope that he has more say in like studios and like development and stuff like that. I just wish that he like they have like a singular vision. Like we already like know that Xbox games are going to be on Windows as well. So like just focus on making games. That's all I care about.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean that's good for him, and then just to prove that the console war only exists with these idiot fanboys, Sony congratulated him. I don't know if Nintendo did, but Sony congratulated him.
Yeah.
But these guys are being dumb. But yeah, no, it's good for Phil. I don't really have much more to say about that, but that's good for Phil.
Well, I'll say now
Chris.
There's an executive in Microsoft that has a direct connection to fans because he does engage with fans and Xbox guys, like and gamers. No one else in Microsoft engages anyone outside of themselves. So
Major Nelson does it.
No, but he's not an EVP. Like when you're at that level of executive, right?
Yeah.
You have more control over stuff. Like but that's his job. Major Nelson is like an ambassador almost, So when you have a guy like Phil, that he can talk to people, so he understands what gamers want, and he can bring that to the big boy table. So it's not just an echo chamber of what these guys who don't care about gaming. They're all enterprise level and whatever. That's their base. So they don't know what gamers want, right? So they would probably make Xbox a service. So I mean, he might make them change their mind or invest in Xbox a little more or push it in different directions.
I think for at least studio-wise, I could see him playing a big part. And I'm like, hey, we need to invest in studios. But why? This is why.
Yeah, and we talked about Don Matrick last week, and for example, the difference between Phil Spencer and Don Matrick is that at least Phil Spencer has an ear open to the fan base and to the community, which I don't think Don Matrick would have had if he would have joined that same position. So I hope it leads to good stuff for Microsoft and Xbox. I think we need it to to boost up, man.
Yeah, we need competition, man, because if it's just Sony running the roost, we remember the PS2 era, man. We can't have that. Manny, what are your thoughts, man? Phil Spencer getting that promotions.
I think it's really cool. It's he's obviously doing a good job, over there, and obviously the guys at Microsoft, the big guys over there saying, okay, yeah, you're doing a good job. Keep this thing. Here's the thing, he is the lord of all gaming in Microsoft. This is PC and the Xbox.
That's
division.
right. Yeah. That's right.
So obviously, this also means that they're kind of going toward that, that thing. You know what I mean?
If he quits, they shut down. Like, yo, we put all our eggs in you, man. Make it happen.
Exactly. So I think it's a cool thing. Here's the thing. I think it is still this. They're still trying to push that toward of sort of environment where Xbox is the gaming division of Microsoft in general, from all the platforms, everything. So.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. All right. Anybody else have any other thoughts on Phil Spencer? It'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting. And it's effective immediately too. So we'll see how long it takes for his ideas to actually start.
Is it a new position? Because I don't know the previous. So
Yeah, I was
title.
curious the same thing. Yeah. If
Yeah.
they created this position or if
Well,
they were gonna make it.
he's just an executive vice president of Microsoft, and apparently the way I could be wrong here, but they made it seem like they were just adding him, like no one was being taken away. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay. So they added the
So it is a new
position.
position.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty interesting, you know. So we'll see. All right. So this next story is pretty interesting. So, who was the guy? Adam, was it you talking about this game, Fortnite? Somebody on the
Yeah.
show was talking about
Yeah.
Fortnite. So anyway, so this game, actually, briefly tell us about Fortnite. What kind of game is this?
It's Minecraft updated for adults. You get to build forts, traps, and you have guns, and it's
So-
like, oh, you build shit, and then there's raids, and people come and destroy it, and you fight. But
So it's
now,
like Fortnite and Team Fortress. I mean,
Yep.
Minecraft and Team Fortress merged
All right,
together.
so that's that type of game. So basically, you know, people were playing. Somebody, I think, guess was recording it, right? And on the bottom, I think left of it, you could actually see the player names, right? Their gamer tags, right? Or gamer names. One person noticed, like, wait, what's up with that gamer name there? Because basically on PlayStation, you can't have underscores at all, right?
spaces. Yeah.
Spaces, you can't have that. So they saw a name with a space. It's like, what the hell's going on? So they checked that name over on Xbox. Sure enough, the guy was playing Fortnite, you know? So for a brief moment, there was actually crossplay between PS4 and Xbox because the developers explained that something got turned on at that point and it allowed that. But then obviously when they found out what was happening, cut that shit right off. But it lets you know how easy this shit would be to implement. Where it happened by accident. Think about that, you know? So
I think
yeah, go
part
ahead.
of me thinks it was done on purpose just to see if it can work on their end. It's like, what if we just put it on for a little bit? Let's just see. Just a little bit. See what happens. And I think that's, I don't know. Something about it didn't seem right.
So you think there's a conspiracy here, man?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know. Chris,
But-
what do you think, man?
Well, it's a happy accident because I think they showed that Sony's full of it, and you can have true crossplay. It's that proves it's not a technology thing. It's not a security thing. That's just an active choice, right?
Mhm.
By them to turn it on or off, and even the devs could turn it on by themselves, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if they broke some kind of contract with Sony. for doing
Basically,
that.
you know, the way I understand it is the developers turned it off. Sony didn't come to them and say turn it off, but they knew because of Sony's policy on this, they might get in trouble, so they shut it off.
Yeah. See, no, Sony's got to stop being dicks about this, and this can happen. This proved it can happen. So this needs to happen.
You know, all right, here's the thing, though. I mean, a lot of people don't seem to understand. Like, oh, what's the big deal? So who cares? I'm like, a lot of people do care, especially in an age where we're dealing with all these games like Division and Destiny, where people are like, oh, I'm playing this, or I'm playing on Xbox, I'm playing on a PlayStation. I was like, damn, if only we could play together. You know what I mean? This would be amazing.
Yeah.
This is when it becomes a big deal.
Yeah,
'Cause I know some people that are like, I don't care, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal.
Here's something interesting. Going back to Phil Spencer, one of the fans asked him about that. He was like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Actually, matter of fact, I'll read what this guy says. He goes, "What do you think of the accidental temporary crossplay of PS4 and Xbox One? Everybody was loving it. Too bad it's fixed." Phil Spencer replied with, "I would have liked for them to leave it on." So make of that what you will.
That's all right. But he's been saying that for the longest. He's pro. You know, he's pro crossplay. So
Well, that's important. Maybe with his new status now, I'd say reach out, make that shit happen. Negotiate with Sony.
Yeah, it's Sony right now that's stopping this. But again, I always find it funny that last gen it was the reverse. You know, Sony wanted crossplay and Microsoft was like, nope. So I guess whoever's at the top gets to decide. And obviously this generation, that's Sony, you know. But it does kind of stink because I feel I could be wrong about this. Maybe it'll actually ignite it more. But I feel that it could actually create some unity between the two systems. You know what I mean? The player bases, right? If you're actively playing, if you're an Xbox fan, you're actually playing with a PS4 guy, you're going to actually see him as a human being, not some scumbag, and vice versa, you know? So I think it would be good.
yeah, man, if they really went all out, like think about it. Like if we ever get to the point where, in the settings you can, it's like, ask questions. Do you have an Xbox? Do you have a PS4? Do you have a Switch or whatever? If that ever happens, but let's say Xbox, PS4. Yeah, all right. What's your login information? So then that way, when you do log in, people can see that profile as well. You know, that would be amazing.
But you know, it was short lived. So what can you do? You know.
Yeah, it's the thing is there was a point during the PS3 era where Sony was open to doing it, and Microsoft was the one that said no.
Yeah.
So it's more about who's winning at the time, deciding whether.
Man, you weren't listening 10 seconds ago, were you? When I said that exact same thing.
Exactly.
It could be. I mean, it could be hubris, or it could be one thing that I might give them a little bit of credit for Microsoft, at least last gen, is that PSN wasn't PSN right now. Like for all intents and purposes, it wasn't a complete service yet.
Nope.
But right now, there's really no excuses for either.
Because remember, it was an attachment. It never launched with it. I always remember that conference when they were like, "Oh well, we did our focus groups and we realized our customers don't want the online service."
Yeah,
that's just not something they're into.
Daniel J says Sony probably doesn't want crossplay because they're afraid it might affect sales. Damn right, that's pretty much exactly what it is.
Exactly,
you know?
That's it right there, man.
Actually, the truth. He goes, why, Adam, this is for you. Why is crossplay such a big fucking deal? If I want to play with an Xbox player, then I'll just turn on my Xbox and join a game.
There you go. But that means you have to double dip. You have to buy that game also.
Yeah,
so if you had it on your PS4, then you would have to go and get it on. And it's not like the PlayStation where you have the share play. Somebody can just jump in your shit and you can play and have the experience. So
it's not only that, but it's creating more community. It's like the Overwatch community. We don't want the Overwatch community to be separated or segregated into two different groups. It's why?
I'm fucking around. I don't give a shit about Overwatch. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. It's like put them together, man. Let them play the same game together. Like it's the exact same game. It plays exactly the same on both systems.
That homogeny could also lead to other things. See how Rocket League is going to do a crossplay between the Switch and Xbox, right? Like they can play together. That homogeny could also. Whoa!
Oh, what? You cut out.
Oh, that was weird. I was saying like Rocket League works crossplay between the Switch and Xbox, right? So you could have that potentially lead to other things being shared between different publishers, right? Imagine Nintendo put Mario Rabbids on Xbox.
Oh shit!
Right? And because it had crossplay, and imagine that happening, then that starts to happen more and more. So who misses out? Sony misses out. If you start seeing like not full Nintendo games, but Nintendo-like games that have characters in it, like Mario Rabbids on Xbox, that would be huge. For them, Sony misses out because they're like, we don't want crossplay. Fine, then you don't get that game.
Yeah, kind of fucked up, but it shows you just how easy this shit would be to implement. Also, I want to welcome Brett, an hour late. What's going on, brother?
What's up, everybody?
See, I think Brett's spider sense was tingling because he knows we're about to talk about Nintendo soon, man.
Oh yeah. No, that's exactly what it was. No, I had a lodge meeting run late tonight.
Ah, yes. Trying to control the world, right? You Freemason guys.
Yeah. I'm part of the Illuminati.
Who keeps the under wraps?
Exactly. Actually, check it out. I got pretty cool, but completely unrelated to the gaming podcast. I got my grandfather's Mason ring bestowed upon me tonight.
That's awesome, dude.
Been in our family for 50 years.
Yo, Brett, the last time you weren't on the show because of the Mason thing, I told the guys that on the air. Like, Tony, are you supposed to say that? It's like, it's not a secret society, guys. Come on.
Yeah, they're not the Illuminati. Jesus Christ.
I mean, it is a secret society. I'm allowed to talk about the fact that, yes, I am a Mason. I'm just not allowed to talk about much beyond that.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to talk about the goings on of the Freemasons.
But these guys were acting like I blew up your spot. It's like, no, Brett has admitted it. It's just he can't talk about the inner workings of it, sacrificing virgins and all that shit.
Yeah. I mean, the goat head and the robes and the sacrifice for the virgin, all that is completely under wraps.
Yeah. All right, man. Actually, Brett, let's get your thoughts on this real quick. What do you think about the fact that for a brief moment, PS4 and Xbox One players were able to play together on Fortnite before they cut the shit off?
Why did they cut it off is my big question.
Well, because of Sony's policy regarding crossplay. That's why.
I think that Sony, your dick is showing.
Keep it real. Keep it real.
Yo, man, that's some fighting words right there.
I mean, yeah, that's some fighting practices right there. It's one of those things when it's been clearly demonstrated to be available, but you are just going to not do it. We talk about what is consumerism or what is anti-consumerist a lot on this show, and I would qualify that as being anti-consumerist. There's no good reason why this can't be done. Sony hasn't really invested money into this project. This isn't their project to control, but they're pulling on the market and influencing their leverage in an effort to control it and get more money from their bottom dollar. Because at the end of the day, they want you buying this on playing this on PlayStation with your friends, not on Xbox. And even if it's just a small win, they're gonna funnel you into doing that. But I guess where I draw the line is they didn't earn it. It's fine when you're supporting a game or when you're help developing a game, or even if you lend assets to the game, but that's none of what we're seeing here. What we're seeing here is Sony putting in a blanket policy that is in fact hurting gamers and only serves to help further their bottom line. So, tisk to you on Sony, to Sony on that one. That's just kind of that's bad sportsmanship if you ask me, and shouldn't be a fucking thing. Now, I understand no cross platform play between PC and consoles.
Even though that does happen, Sony allows that with PC all day, every day.
And see, that's the weird thing, because, and I'm not going to get on my little hacking and cheating tirade here, but those are two very different things. You're cross-playing something on a closed system architecture with something on a open system architecture, which is apples and oranges, whereas the consoles essentially is comparing apples to apples. So the fact that they go out of their way to stop Microsoft from doing this when they let it happen on PC shows that they're just doing it to be vindictive, which kind of doubles down on your dick is showing. So I can't defend them, and I wouldn't want to, but even from a devil's advocate position, like, there's not really a good reason for this other than you're not wanting to play ball with your competition, apparently out of spite, even though it would help with a lot of your games.
Just to jump on that, I wonder how much of it is spite, because again, remember, last gen was the opposite, right? Sony wanted crossplay, Microsoft said fuck you. So I'm wondering, are they trying to get back at Microsoft?
Even if they are, so what? A best case scenario, it's petty and childish.
Yeah.
I mean, and if that's best case scenario, then how are you not supposed to throw rocks at that point? That's one of those, like, you look at the pitchfork and torch salesman, you'd be like, you're about to get a shitload of business, my friend, because I can't argue this mob down. I can't, and honestly, I'm not obligated to, nor should I in any way. Sony deserves every bit of crap that they give for this, and honestly, the more the better. It's kind of bullshit when the systems are this close. You've run out of excuses other than we just don't feel like doing it, and we just don't feel like doing it is how Sony lost their throne in the first place. So if this behavior is indicative of future behavior, prepare for another console shift this next generation, because if Sony wants to be a dick about it, I'll just go to Xbox. Microsoft has been trying real hard to win my business lately. I'm kind of locked into the PlayStation ecosystem at this point, and I'm not really wanting to invest a whole lot again. But yeah, man, when the generation rolls over and my money comes up and I'm looking at what system to buy, it's going to be based on what company is treating me better and what company is trying harder for my money. And if Sony continues to act complacent, lazy, and greedy, then that's going to be Microsoft this time around. And maybe I'll just be one of those console gamers that flip-flops every generation, and then every generation I have people tell me I'm a fanboy for that current generation. I was an Xbox fanboy, and then I was a 360 fanboy, and then I was a PS3 fanboy, and now I'm a PS4 fanboy, and then I'll go back to being an Xbox fanboy and whatever. But it's at the end of the day, you tell companies how to treat you, and this is just, I'm sorry, this is just a big fuck you to gamers, man. I can't. Somebody please tell me how this is not, because I'd love to see it not that way, but I can't read it any other way than fuck you to give us your money.
Yeah, and
Why
again,
would
the thing
we
is,
go out of
remember
our
how
way?
this happened? No, they didn't have to go out of the way to make it happen. It was an accident, which shows you just how fucking easy it is to
Yeah.
actually make this happen. It's not like oh, we have to devote so many sources to make this happen. No, it happened by accident, which means you could easily do it. But
Yep.
you know, Sony's free to do what they're gonna do. But you know, the fans, if you want it, just let them know. You know, again, even Phil Spencer was like, yeah, I wish they had left it on. You know,
And Brett didn't even hear my logic, which was like that would help with getting more stuff like crossplay. And I said, imagine, okay, so Nintendo and Xbox get Rocket League, right? They get Rocket League crossplay. So imagine that with something like Mario Rabbids, right? It's like the gateway game. And then because they're playing nice together, then Microsoft could get other like crossplay. Imagine Nintendo said, okay, we're going to give you Splatoon and make it crossplay. So imagine something like that.
that'd be
And then
crazy.
and it leads further and further. Then who's left out? Sony's left out.
That would be let's take it into the real world for a second. Everybody knows that I like to talk about the current game that I'm playing far too much, so let's bring up Absolver for a minute.
Okay.
This game recently came out with a patch that essentially broke the fluidity and the mechanics of the game, which is a damn shame, but it's not honestly out of people. You know, this is a company made from people who left Ubisoft, so it's not out of their track record. The problem is this is essentially a AA game that has sold gangbusters, but it is not doing well because with each patch, it seems to degrade a little bit. They probably should have done a bigger beta test on it, and I'm not giving them a pass on this. But here's where the problem comes into the real world. If this game has a rocky start and not that long of a game time, 8 to 10 hours single player, hundreds of hours if you want to do PvP, but quite frankly, PvP is busted right now. So a lot of the content of the game is either inaccessible or not working correctly. That leaves a very poor first impression of this game, which will sink or swim based on its community. This community, unfortunately, is having a bit of an exodus right now. I'm very much hoping that this will change and that people will come back once the game is rebalanced, but let's be honest, that never happens as much as we want it to. So the success of this game could live and die by it being released on Xbox, which it most likely will be because of the high reception and sales that it's gotten. So we could very well end up seeing a game that I already count as one of my favorite games, even in its broken state, end up with a very healthy Microsoft community with a very poor Sony community because these people have already sat through a buggy, horrible launch, and a lot of people don't want to give that a second chance. So if they did have crossplay with Xbox, that would revitalize the community and keep the game alive substantially longer. But without crossplay, they're looking down the barrel of either a huge discrepancy in their audience between the ones that fought through all the bugs and now have come out the other side of that very difficult learning curve far ahead of the other players, or they're just not going to have many new players and the whole thing's going to turn into a ghost town. And with each player that leaves, the game gets less appealing. So you can see how this is inevitably going to spiral out of control and snowball into something that could actually kill the game. Whereas if cross-platform play were enabled, this kind of thing wouldn't come up. And I realize that this is just a small example in a mountain of examples. But if we're wanting to at least take something theoretical and put it right into the real world, I'm seeing the consequences of this in action. I'm seeing what I consider to be a good game that is most likely going to dry up because of its lack of community and never get repeated. Nobody will make a sequel. Nobody will make another game. This whole fundamental thing will get dumped down and we'll get another Horizon Zero Dawn. And for those of you that love that game, I get it. But you have to admit, it is the equivalent of the most homogenized product of a game. It is the McDonald's cheeseburger of games. You may love McDonald's. Some people do. I'm not talking shit on it. But it is the logical conclusion towards everything that gaming has been building towards. And I don't want to see gaming become a series of clones. I miss the days when games each had their own unique character. And this kind of thing, especially in multiplayer games, really hurting that. I mean, Chris, how much more life do you think? I mean, I'm not saying Dark Souls has a bad life, but how much more life and activity would Dark Souls have if it were crossplay? I mean, it would be infinitely easier to find co-op and to PvP, which is really what keeps the community around and keeps selling the game in the franchise.
Yeah, no, that would be huge if it had crossplay. Like that would if you merged if you merged the Xbox potential Xbox and PS community, you're talking like you have a base of 100 million, right? Potential, not actual, but potential. So that would be enormous. And for Sony to sit on that and go, well, you guys didn't play nice last generation, is stupid. It's childish.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. By the way, Brett, I'm glad you showed up because this show is almost ready to be done. You know how you talk, brother.
Yeah, I can extend that shit a little bit.
Yeah. Actually, quickly, since you're here, did you see anything that caught your eye from Tokyo Game Show?
I have not had a chance to check up on it. Was there anything interesting that came out of it?
A couple of things. The one you'll probably really like this. Virtual On, they're making a new game, man.
Oh shit!
I know, right? Ain't that something?
Really?
Awesome.
Yeah, dude, a brand new game, not a remaster or anything, a brand new game. So I'm pretty excited about that. All right, let's talk about this. This is pretty fun. I wrote about this a couple of days ago, right? So the Switch actually has, there we go, my man. The Switch actually has a tribute to Mr. Iwata in it. This is a really cool story. So let me break it down. So basically, just like any computer system, the Switch was hacked, right? And the the hackers, they found this like code in there, and basically it's a code for an emulated version of Golf, right? The original NES Golf, right? And they found out you could only unlock it on July 11th, and you need to do specific hand movements with the Joy-Cons in order to unlock it. And they were like, why is this happening? Nothing been confirmed yet, but it seems like, okay, because July 11th is Mr. Iwata passed away in 2015, and the hand gesture, as you see it on screen, you have to, is his signature hand gesture, as Manny's doing right now, from the Nintendo Direct. So basically what's going on is Nintendo is paying tribute to Iwata by having Golf in there, which is a game that he created. So every Switch in the market has code. Yeah, who programmed the game? Every Switch on the market has code written by Iwata. That is fucking amazing. That is how you do a tribute, and Nintendo even did it so you can't rejigger like your settings, so you could falsify that it's July 11th. As soon as you go online, the system has like Adam said, it was like a backup calendar in there, right? And you can't do it, so it's pretty cool. Every July 11th, I'm gonna try this next year. It'll be cool. It sucks that this July 11th passed and nobody knew about this shit.
Nobody figured it out.
Apparently, somebody on the actual July 11th on like a hacker forum, they're like, "Hey guys, this game just turned on my Switch. What the fuck's going on?" He's like, "When I try to play it again, it wouldn't work." So people just dismissed it. But what happened is July 11th passed and he couldn't access the game anymore. So yeah, pretty cool. So Manny, we'll start with you, man. What do you think about this little tribute to Mr. Iwata?
I think and it was just hackers that found this thing.
Yep.
So if you accidentally did that move on that specific day with both of them, you would instantly activate this game. That's amazing. Like, just to put like something like that. I mean, this is also not the only tribute that Iwata has gotten. He's also in The Legend of Zelda, and there's a tribute to him in there. There's a character that looks a lot like him, and then it leads to a specific spiritual animal that you can get in the game that only appears at certain amounts of time. So it's so cool that they decided to do that. I mean, obviously they had a lot of respect for this man, and I think a lot of the gaming industry had a lot of respect for him. I mean, how many people do you know that led a video game company that actually was programming games? And this guy was programming games even all the way to like Super Smash Brothers. Like, to get Super Smash Brothers out on time, he just pulled up his sleeves and just said, "All right, I'm gonna do some of this shit."
Yeah, he's definitely a rare breed. He was both executive and programmer and developer and all that.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that it also gives you, you don't hear about too many folks kind of going, at least in recent years, you don't hear about too many folks coming up through the ranks of a company and then eventually making it there. Usually, it's a lot of guys that are just failing upward. They just, they fucked up.
We got Phil Spencer.
They got people that fucked up at one company.
Spencer pulling it.
So it is so cool to see that they put that in there. But I'm guessing they were just going to leave it alone and you just hear rumors of it, just
basically.
like that thing. Yeah.
Well,
I
it
think
might
they
have been.
eventually would have said something.
No, it might have been the system engineers or whatever that put that in for him and pitched it, and then they decided against it, right? But they left it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I just think
it's
cool that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brett.
Okay, I just think it's cool that they put something in there very subtly without making a big deal out of it. And it's kind of cool because they did something not quite as hidden, but with the Pro controller, like the thanks to all gamers, like that wasn't loud and it wasn't obvious. Like you really had to look for that, and it's weird for Nintendo to be putting these little attention to detail things and these almost little fan servicey things that for the most part nobody's probably going to find out about, which is I can't wrap my brain around a company that's like, it'd be nice, we'll do this thing, but we don't really have to make it a big deal out of it or show it. Like, I swear to God, if this were on PlayStation, it would be a trophy that you have to unlock to get the platinum.
And I would get I would get that trophy. By the way, for you guys just joining us on Twitch for the first time, say hello to the Throwdown crickets, man.
Yes.
They are opinionated.
Yes, very loud crickets, man. They got a lot of shit to say, just like us. So, Chris, what do you think about all this, man?
Well, I think it was a nice gesture. I mean, I only think they didn't announce it because somebody at the top didn't feel it was appropriate or something, and the engineers already did it, right? They put it in there, packaged it, pitched it, and they said no. I think it's nice. I think the man deserves a lot of respect. Like, I feel honored. I actually spoke with him like years ago. He gave a meeting in New York. He talked to us about a lot of stuff, and we got to speak to him. And his English is not that great, but he's very polite, very nice. So I remember that. I'll always remember that I got to talk to this man.
That's pretty awesome, man. So good on you, Nintendo. But you're right about that. I didn't think about this. Like, maybe the engineers just snuck that in there without corporate even knowing about it.
Yeah. And they left it in there.
Yeah, they.
It's also like a hidden alarm. They're like, we know they hacked us. They got to the core.
They found the secret golf game.
Exactly. It's done. Sound the alarm.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Anybody else want to jump in on that, Mr. Iwata? All right, I guess not. So we'll go on to the next thing. This is gonna be cool. Yesterday, your boy Tony, I got to go to a Bethesda event, right? I got to check out a bunch of their games, right? But the ones I was interested in the most, or the one I was interested in the most, was Doom on Switch, because we've been talking about that. I've had a lot of conversations online. Guys were insisting, Tony, it's gonna run at 60 frames a second, man. It's gonna run at 60 frames. I'm like, no.
Can I just say that I called that it wasn't, as I guess the resident Nintendo fanboy.
All right, and I'm glad you did, Brett, because I'm gonna be honest with you, just being open on air. You didn't say it, but I assumed you thought that just because of how ardent of a Nintendo guy you are now.
Oh no, I swear I swore I said that it was going to run at 30 frames a second. Like, that's just the fact that they're getting it on there. Like, I'm happy about, but like, no, it's not going to run at 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
60 frames a second on the PS4. I know that. The Switch is not the PS4. You're getting a 30 frame per second experience, but you're still getting a fully fledged game at 30 frames per second, which is what we play most of our games at. So, at the end of the day, I'm pretty still pleased.
Yeah, we'll get to that because obviously, Destiny's running 30 frames. So anyway, I played the game at 30, and it was a little weird at first because, again, I'm used to playing it either at 60 frames on the PS4 or higher on the PC, right? So it took a little bit of adjusting. I played through the first level and stuff, but after like a minute or two, I just got used to it. I was playing, it was like, it wasn't handheld, but it was like on a pedestal or whatever. I don't know what mode you call that, but I was playing it like that with a Pro controller. So controller-wise, there was no difference there. Pro controllers, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this is like the first-person shooter on Switch. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I liked it for the most part. I mean, yeah, it did, aiming and shit was a little weird because it's not as smooth, but it looks nice. Even though they didn't answer this for me on the show, but I learned later that basically the game has a dynamic resolution. Sometimes it goes in between 540 and 720, right? Depending on what's going on. And obviously there's lesser textures and stuff, but when you're looking at it on that little small screen, you don't really notice it too much. Like I would think if you're, let's just be honest, you're not going to buy this just because you want to play it on TV. You want to play it because it's on the go. So I think it's a viable choice.
Listen, I'm thinking it wasn't so much of how it looks; it's just a Joy-Con.
And this is maybe my failing. I didn't play with the Joy-Con. I played with the Pro controller, right? I don't know how it would work with the Joy-Cons, but if you want Doom, if you need to have Doom on the road, you have an option. Now, obviously, I would still tell you play that shit on a console, play it on PC, but it works, and that's saying a lot. That's better than it not existing at all. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, the full game comes into cartridge, but you got to download the multiplayer. But all the multiplayer like maps and shit are included, so you're not getting left out. I think Snap Maps or whatever the fuck they're called, they're not included, but arcade's in there, all of that. But yeah, again, I was blown the fuck away that Switch could even run this shit, So that was crazy. Obviously,
Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who's hating?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who's hating?
Nobody's hating.
Yeah, no one's hating.
I don't know who's hating. I got some hate on Twitter, but the thing is, I wasn't talking about Doom. Like, how many times have I said on this show that Nintendo needs third-party support? Yeah. Don't you think I would be happy that, like, oh shit, look at what they got? Like, that's great. But some guy was giving me grief. It's like, oh, GTA 5 is going to end up on the Switch. And I was like, no. I said that was what I was arguing about. I said, no, it's not. There's like a whole lot more hurdles to get over, including size of the game.
Yeah, and the online aspect. That's what makes it. People aren't playing the standalone. They're playing that online. That's what's keeping it floating and making that money.
So then it started to devolve into full retard where they started saying, oh, I guess you're angry about Doom on the Switch. Like, no, idiot. I'm telling you that GTA 5 probably is not going to happen. Doom is a reality, and that's great that they're getting it. That's great that they're going to get the new Wolfenstein. It's great that they're getting third-party support. This is something I've said they needed for a long time. So why would I get mad when they finally got it? That's stupid.
Now, you know how fanboys are, though. But yeah, I did have to like fight with some guys because they were like, "Oh no, it's gonna be 60. It's gonna be 60. Why are you hating?" I'm like, "Bro, are you fucking stupid? It can't run at 60." He's like, "Oh, but Mario Kart runs at 60." I'm like,
"Oh God, again with the racing." Yeah. You joined the support group with fucking what's his name, Other Zinc.
I swear to God, I think I'm the only person on the planet that understands the terminology hybrid console. Like. People just hear out of that what I think they want to hear. They're like, oh, well, it's a handheld. Or it's no, it's both. It is both. It is a cumbersome handheld, and it is a low-powered console. It is not particularly amazing at either one exclusively. It just does both. That is the begin, the middle, and the end of the concept. Full stop. How is this hard for people to get their brains around? Like, some people are like, oh, well, I consider it a console, so it should be able to run all console games the same as the other consoles. No, it doesn't. That was never the thing, and it was never going to be a thing. And like, oh, well, it's bigger and more cumbersome than my 3DS. Well, yeah, it was always going to be. Like, how hard is it to establish what a product is trying to do and then have realistic expectations for what that product does? Am I just insane here?
I don't know, but Brett, to be fair though, when you talk about the Switch, you mostly talk about it as a handheld. Let's just be honest now.
Most of the time, I'm talking about it as a portable console. Like I think I'm the weird one. Like the way that you played Doom is the way that I play my Switch when I'm out and about. I don't generally play it on a bus, or like I imagine I'd play it on a road trip, but like commuting, even if I were in a subway, I don't know if I'd pull out a Switch game. But it's nice to have and like set up at my desk. So I don't even necessarily consider it a full handheld because I don't use it as a handheld a lot of times. I use it as a portable console, something that has the TV built into it. I can just sit on a desk, pop in my little controllers, and play in a relaxed fashion where I'm not having to hold the whole thing up. So maybe that's where my unique perspective comes into it. Because honestly, for me, it's neither. I don't use it as a handheld. I use it docked sometimes. I use it handheld sometimes. But I'd say probably most of the time I use it docked, and then 60% of the time, and then 30% of the time I use it, on the go while I'm out at the tattoo shop or something like that. And I'd say about 10% of the time I play it in handheld mode. The handheld mode is still definitely the least amount of time that I play it, but that's not where its portability ends.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but yeah, because I would never play it like that. It's like if I'm going to play with the Pro Controller with the thing out there, why not just play it on my television, right? So I would never do that. But I could see, like, if you're at somebody's house or something, why you may want to do that, or a doctor's office or whatever. Bring your fucking Pro Controller with you.
There's also the idea, like, keep in mind that the more permeated this ecosystem becomes, the better it's going to be. So, for instance, I have a Switch. My friend Erica has a Switch. She is staying over because she has to get up at 5 a.m. for the next couple weeks for this new job training that she's going through. Usually she works third shift, so she'll come over and she's hanging out. So I'll pick up my Switch, undock it, throw it in my bag, take it up to work, and I can dock it because there's a dock up at work. And she can bring her own Legend of Zelda game over, play it wherever she wants, dock it in my console, play it on my TV. It's this idea that you can bring your console and your save data and all that stuff around with you. And yeah, I can do that technically with the PlayStation, or I can download all my games digitally and then download them onto other PlayStations. But then you still have to have a PlayStation up at work, a PlayStation in this room, a PlayStation over here. Whereas I think and I'm starting to see people with multiple docks, so that they can move from room A to room B. And these are all things that kind of fall in the cracks. Like, you don't give a shit necessarily that you can bring your DS from the living room to the bedroom. I mean, it's pretty cool, but another layer on top of that is if you have a dock in your living room and your bedroom, suddenly it's like having two Switches, or it acts the same as having two PlayStations. This is coming from somebody who had two PlayStations. So being able to move something from one room to another, or from one place to another, I think is something that shouldn't be left out of the conversation.
Yeah, remember Malik, he explained last week how he actually has 4 Switch docks around the house just for whoever may need it, which is pretty interesting. So anyway, Doom was really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. And then I only played it for a little bit. I played about 5 minutes of Skyrim, right? That one was the least impressive because, again, it's just an old game. I'm playing. I'm like, man, it looks the way it does on PS3. Basically, there wasn't as many effects. There was no shimmering shit or fog stuff. It was very simplified. But the game never looked that good anyway, so it wasn't like a big deal. But it was still cool to walk around and see all the mountains and forests and shit. I even went to this one town. Again, remember, I've never played Skyrim. It was called Riverwood. As soon as I get in there, I start talking to this elf, and he's like, "Yo, my bitch is cheating on me. Give this letter to her, to the man she's fucking." And then I find the man she's fucking, like, "Yo, give her this letter, and say that elf is cheating on her." I'm like, "What? Yo, I'm not trying to get into the middle of this shit, guys. I'm trying to just play this game right now, And then as I did, I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing typical Skyrim shit on Switch. That's pretty cool, and it worked because I feel Bethesda games don't work very well in third person because the character just looks like they're floating above the ground. But it looked good on Switch, walking around and stuff. So yeah, this is the shit we've been wanting from Nintendo. Third-party games, and not bullshit third-party games, real third-party games. So, I mean, granted, it's still going to be bottlenecked by the shitty, architecture of the Switch, but it's still Doom and it's still Skyrim, and I hate to sound like a fanboy, but you can't deny that shit. It's there in your face, I had my Chris, our boy Eric, he was giving me shit about it. He was like, oh, you're a fucking flip-flopper now. You was talking all that shit. I'm like, because I have new evidence, motherfucker. Come on, man.
You can change your opinion or see something that you like or you don't like. That's called being a thinking human being.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Eric's my boy, but he always gives me shit about that. He's like, oh, look, your opinion on PC gaming has changed, hasn't it? I'm like, yeah, because I actually have a fucking gaming PC now, bro. Like, am I honestly going to have a new gaming PC and still have the same dumbass mentality that I had before? That makes no sense. It's like, are humans not allowed to evolve? I thought that was the whole reason we exist.
Yeah. Actually, not doing that, not changing your opinion when presented with contracting or contradictory facts is literally what makes people fanboys.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
And I guess I proved I'm not a fanboy. I'm blown away by this shit. I'm playing Doom on Switch, and it feels basically the same. I even played the old Doom level in there just cause, it was crazy.
Yeah, we're all it's okay to be wrong, and it is okay to say opinionated things and eat them later. And this has nothing to do with the fact that I just bought Destiny 2 and I'm actually enjoying
You
it.
son of a bitch. Oh, man.
By the way, everyone gets to evolve, man. Even people like Brett. He's calling the Switch a console now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Also, since I have you here, and I realize I actually can't talk about it, I played Chris's the sequel to Chris's favorite game, Evil Within. This was way better than the first game. Chris, you could attest to this. Controls were all fucked up and janky, right?
Oh yeah.
Not this one. And the developer purposely told me, he's like, yeah, we kind of gave it more Western-y controls, and it's true. It felt like a Western survival horror game. Like with the control stuff, like shooting is the way you would expect, reloading is what you would expect. That was good. I had a lot of fun. These guys are crazy. The demo starts with a boss battle. I kept getting fucked up, but I eventually made it through, and then I went through the game, and then I got to the final boss, and I got through that, and then what happened after that, right? Developers like, oh shit, you're the only one out of your group that beat the demo. I'm like,
man,
it's crazy. Like I know earlier, Hip Hop Gamer, he beat it, But Hip Hop Gamer, even though he plays games on EC, he still knows how to play games.
He still knows how to play games.
He likes that God mode though.
Yeah. Also, I think I could talk about this. I have the game here. I have footage right here. I just need to get it out of this.
Yeah, I told you what you need for that.
I need the SATA thing. Yeah.
You just need a SATA cable.
I have an hour of me playing Wolfenstein, which I can't talk about at the moment, and about 45 minutes of Evil Within, right? The developer told me something like, "Yo, man, you're really good at Wolfenstein." I'm like, I played the first one, bro.
Again, they don't. Most journalists are not full-on gamers, so they probably suck.
Yeah, so, I'll tell you about Wolfenstein.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
it's not like you learn the behavior over time. Like, I actually had a moment today where I put Destiny in a friend's hands, and she's like, "So how do you play this?" And I, without even thinking, I went, "Like a shooter." Like to me, that's the end. Like, you put a controller in my hand, you're like, shooter controls. I'm like, okay, going. This button's the grenade, right? Yes,
that's
it is.
That's what you need. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, there's so many archetypes of controls that we've played through the years. I mean, you kind of already know X is always the jump button, or what is it, B on the Xbox?
Yeah,
circle's always gonna crouch.
Yeah, circle's crouch. Yeah. X or triangle is reload. L was it L2? L2 is aim, or right L trigger aim. Shoot is the R trigger. R2, it's all the same shit,
Squares on the right.
Squares reload. There are some weirdo games like fucking Grand Theft Auto where jumping is on triangle and shit,
And running is X.
Yeah. So Rockstar does their kind of thing, but even then, the shooting is the same as in every other game, Reloading is weird though.
It's like, I'm surprised you didn't say, "Wow, you're the first guy not to throw a grenade at your feet."
Yeah, right.
The ultimate noob mistake. It's like every Halo game.
Yeah. I didn't throw a grenade at my feet by accident, but I did throw a grenade by accident. But it was a happy accident because I ended up killing an enemy anyway. I'm like, okay, good, because I was, I'm pressing the buttons just to see what everything does. I'm like, oh, okay, that's the grenade. Oh, he's dead now. I think I could say this about Wolfenstein. It's very fun to kill Nazis. Hey, listen,
spoiler.
Nazis are like a video game staple, like fucking zombies.
Yeah, it's like, what's the evilest thing that nobody would care about killing? Nazis.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you guys more about it on Thursday.
Or inhuman aliens.
Pretty much, or zombies.
Oh yeah,
or zombies.
Or demons, right?
Doom.
Demons,
Doom.
Nobody cares about demons.
But again, I'm blown away by what the Switch can do, man. So I'm wondering, I'm with fucking Adam 100% of this. I guarantee you, in a year or two, they're gonna do a fucking revised Switch with beefier hardware. I guarantee.
I don't even say it here. I think by 2018.
Damn, son.
Just because of the shortage that they're having with parts and the whole thing with the screen and with the Joy-Con lawsuit and stuff. I mean, everything is pointing that they need to do an upgraded version.
And it's not out of the realm of possibility. Look how quickly it threw out that new 3DS. Look how many visions of the 2DS you had, or regular DS.
Right.
It's come on, man. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. If that the X2, actually, Chris, let me ask you that. If they had the X2 Tegra chip in there, how much better would it be? Like, how much more exponentially better would it be, like power wise?
You probably see like I'd say see better than 200% improvement and stuff. So what they should do is definitely go to the next stepping of Tegra and make sure you cool it right. Go to OLED because JPL is probably dead and Apple killed it. So if they're moving to OLED, that's a good sign that you should probably too.
Yeah,
Or work with someone in Korea. I don't know, but just fucking do it and put more RAM in there. Like even if you put like 6 gigs in there, like make it happen, and more storage. For fuck's sake, put a bigger drive in that thing.
I know it's pissing them off that soon you're gonna see games like what happened with 2K18 with that symbol. It's like, oh, memory card required. So it's like, shit. If you start filling those up, next you're gonna have not only a bunch of games to play, you're gonna carry down run a bunch of memory cards.
Up the storage and throw everyone a bone and kick in at least a 32 gig SD card.
Yeah,
if not bigger. Kick it in for that price.
Yeah,
anyway.
but even
go ahead, Carlos.
I mean, like you have the NBA game that's required, like Adam said, and then of course with Doom, if you want to play multiplayer, you got to download that shit. What if you ran out of space? Like what is it? It's 25 gigs. I know it's a 32 gig internal, but it's really 25 gigs free. It's bullshit, man. But anyway, yeah. So very impressed by that. I think it's coming out this year. Both of them actually, Skyrim's and Doom. So check it out. As a matter of fact, actually, you know what? I'm gonna get on Tony's soapbox right now. Nintendo gamers, if you want to see more third-party games on the Switch, buy them. Don't just say, "Oh, that's cool that we have Doom." Buy fucking Doom. Buy Skyrim. You want more games like that, man.
Right. Yeah, I did say that before. If you don't support this now, you can't be talking shit like, "Oh, we're gonna get GTA." You think Rockstar's gonna spit on you if you don't buy what Bethesda's throwing at you?
Yeah, look, let me tell you this. The producer of Final Fantasy 15, he's like, I want to get this game on Switch. It's just a matter of working it out. So there's interest from developers, right? You guys just need to buy these games.
Right,
Simple
yeah. It's not up to the dev, and at the end of the day, the money guys decide that.
Yep.
I made a bet with Brett, like for $20 if the Skyrim shows up in the NPDs, top 10 NPDs or not. I want to give Brett my $20.
Yes. Ooh, that's actually a good way of kind of closing it out. Okay, Carlos, do you have the list here? What is your kind of projected NPD for November? Because you showed it to me, and I kind of agree.
Okay, so for sure one of them is going to be Mario. Mario is going to be in November NPDs. It comes out October, I think.
October 27th is crazy. Wolfenstein, Mario Odyssey, and Assassin's Creed come out the same day.
Oh my god.
Wow.
So Mario is definitely going to be one of them. Call of Duty World War II is going to be one of them. So here's another thing people don't remember. Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon comes out in November. Yo, man, those things, I don't care if they're freaking just fucking definitive editions of the last year's shits. They're still going to sell. So I put both of those things in the NPDs.
Also, keep in mind, just in case you people think Carlos is crazy, the 2 Pokemon games were on NPDs November last year. Keep that in mind,
Yep. Battlefront 2.
Mm-hmm.
Battlefront 2 is going to be crazy. Zelda is going to make it back, man. Those holiday sales, those Black Friday sales, they're definitely going to sell Zelda a lot again, especially with increased amount of Switches. Hopefully Nintendo gets their act together and gets more production on those in the shelves, man, so we can sell those Switches. The three obligatory sports games, Madden, FIFA, NBA 2K, those normally are on November NPDs anyways. And drum roll please for the last one. Brian, help me with this.
All right. Yep. Brian, are you ready, man? I know what he's going to say next.
Throwdown Kagra?
GTA 5. Of course, it's going to be in it.
Of course. Couple things to note, though. the re-release of Elder Scrolls Skyrim was on MPD last November, and GTA 5 was not on it.
Oh shit.
But I do agree with you. You said Call of Duty is going to be on yours too, right? That's gonna be there. It's gonna be there.
Has to be there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna co-sign Carlos's NPD prediction, man.
A wild card is Assassin's Creed. I don't have that, so man, it's tough.
I could see that happening. This is a new
I don't
Assassin's
see
Creed
that.
games always do well, you know. I could see that being on there.
And there wasn't one last year. You know what?
Well,
I might take
last year didn't come out. They didn't come out with the Assassin's Creed last year.
right. So people
That's what I'm saying.
are wanting that game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Any hungry?
And remember,
I don't know if that. I don't know.
last Assassin's
I don't
Creed game
believe
was
it.
very well received. You're only as good as your last game. People are hyped, you know.
It was well received, but they didn't make a profit. They said they actually lost money with
Yeah,
it.
you know why? Because the game before that was fucking bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna happen, you know. So I agree. So Brett, do you disagree with that list that Carlos put up?
No, I think that's pretty accurate.
What about Skyrim though? Because you were pretty adamant that it's gonna be on there.
I think it's gonna show up at the bottom of the list somewhere. I still think that. I don't think it's going to probably crack above 8, I would say, but I think it'll show a blip, and I think for much the same reason that you see GTA continually selling. It's a bread and butter game. It is a game that you buy with a system, and even though pretty much everybody has played it, I think it's the same thing. Just about everybody has played GTA, but they still keep buying copies. So I think it'll pop on there. I don't know what it'll replace, but I think it'll pop up there.
And Tony brought up a good point. Like Skyrim came out last year, remastered, and it showed up on the MPDs.
Yep.
So hey, we've seen it before.
But to be fair, Skyrim Remastered came out on 3 platforms. It's only coming out on 1, which will probably have 6 billion user base by then, maybe 7. You know?
Yeah, but think about how game hungry people on with Switch consoles are for a real game like this. I mean, this is the first time this is an experience like this.
I don't know, Brett.
accessible to Switch owners.
I don't think people being game hungry on Switch is applicable anymore. There's plenty of games, and by that time, okay, if you're a Switch owner, what are you going to buy? Skyrim or Mario?
Both.
No, I mean, you can only pick one. Let's just be honest. Now, it's not us. Regular people can only really choose one. They're going to pick Mario. Let's just be honest.
But regular people don't only choose one for holiday Christmas shopping.
No, but if
What about Zelda? If they
yeah, I see what you're saying though. Yeah, you're right. Maybe they could go fuck both of them. I want Zelda.
Mario Kart,
maybe it's
Splatoon.
possible. Yeah, here's the thing. If this weren't around holiday season, I would not feel as strongly about this prediction. But I think that the library if you just got a Switch, it is an easy gift idea for everybody. And you're like, Billy just got a Nintendo. Okay, well, what games are you getting him? Okay. And I've seen it happen time and time again. Parents get on the phone, they're like, okay, Billy got a Switch. We picked up Mario Kart and Zelda. Aunt Joan is gonna get him Zelda, and so the only thing really left on the list is Skyrim. And so, especially like maybe they'll be getting to Switch, and then you're not going to get 4 games. And I don't know anybody like that, but I do know of several people who, like, if you just got a console, like with maybe they'll be getting to Switch, and then.
Whoa, what was that?
I don't know.
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it. Okay.
Don't worry about that.
So yeah, I mean, they could be getting the Switch for Christmas, but I think for everybody that already has a Switch, like Switch games are going to be an easy Christmas idea. So I don't think we're going to see the usual limitation of, oh well, they already got their game or they spent their monthly allocation. Because whatever they don't get, they'll probably buy with their own Christmas money too.
I'll tell you something. Like if the Switch, like if they replaced Mario Kart 8 with Skyrim. Like when Mario Kart 8 came out and instead released Skyrim, I would say definitely would have come out in the MPD's top 10. Like it would have been like pretty high too. But there's already a lot of games people want to buy for the Switch. There's Mario Kart, there's Mario plus Rabbids, there's Splatoon 2. I mean, Zelda and Mario. Trust me, I've been more confident in certain predictions that I've made, but I have this look, ARMS.
It's gonna sell because it's Skyrim. It's like GTA. There's a weird X factor there that we're not going to take into account enough, and it'll crack. And trust me, when it happens, I'll be like, I'm kind of surprised. I have no idea what that is.
Adam, that's you, man. Every time that sound comes up, it's you doing something.
I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, you were. You were like scratching your shit. But Brett, if that's the case, how come Skyrim's in on NPD all the time?
Because it's not going to last up there. But keep in mind, it was on NPDs for fucking ever.
Yeah, it was on there for a minute. Yeah, that's true. You know.
And so you're opening it to you're opening it to a new audience. Granted, these people probably have access to Skyrim on other platforms, but even then, like, I know people, and this is the thing I don't get. I know people who have already bought Skyrim 3 times, and they're going to buy it again for the Switch. Why? I don't know. Like, I imagine you've gotten all the content out of that game that you could, but they are, in fact, genuinely excited about it. And it's weird the number of people I've even heard just kind of be like, yeah, I'll probably pick it up. Like, you don't even sound that excited about it, but you're like, yeah, I'll probably get it.
You just got a reflex at that point. You know, that's crazy, man. All right, so that's gonna do it. So one thing this is gonna might be shocking to some of you, right? And this is the first time I'm saying this. So I buried the hatchet with somebody on Twitter that I had big beef with, right? And I'm not going to get too much into the story because I actually want to have him on Throwdown, right? Him and I talked about it, so I'm going to have him on Throwdown in the near future, especially since he's a huge Xbox guy. So I buried the hatchet with Mr. Jez Corden from Windows Central. Him and I are cool with each other now. We've been talking since last night. He hit me up. He apologized, I apologized, and we're like, you know what? We're too old for this fanboy bullshit. We're both professionals in the industry. Bury the hatchet, and let's just talk about games. So this guy, I'm gonna be honest with you, he's blowing me the fuck away with this Microsoft and Windows knowledge. I'm like, damn, I've never heard somebody talk about Windows like that. This shit is crazy. You know?
You haven't been in a room with Adam for very long.
I guess I haven't. I'm like, Adam, I think I found your long lost brother or something, because this guy was hitting me with some facts. I'm like, damn, you know. So I want to get him on probably before the Scorpio drops, and then afterwards, you know. And again, and that's also to show you motherfuckers that two grown men could bury the hatchet and not let stupid console war bullshit get between them. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Jess Corden. I could not believe I would have been saying that last week, but I could be a big man too, so fuck all that shit. So shout out to you, Jez. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And that's gonna be that. So this was our first episode over on Twitch. We actually had 5 people watching, which is more than usual. So
nice.
Thank you for all you Twitch guys. Hopefully, you guys are gonna help that side grow. Manny and I were talking about this. We're gonna let you into some insider shit. I kind of had a fucked up mentality about this, because I was thinking that we're gonna probably move over to Twitch eventually because of how fucked up YouTube is. But it seems that YouTube is leaving us alone for now. And Manny's theory is that since we put it up in your face, we're adult content, they're leaving us alone for now. So, and I was also told, and Carlos brought this up to my attention, it's very hard to gain a Twitch audience, which lets me know different types of audiences. So my thinking is now, okay, we're going to keep doing our thing on YouTube, obviously, and we're just going to grow an extra audience over on Twitch. So that'll be good. That'll be fantastic. So
we're going to have crossplay too, man.
Yeah, we're having crossplay, Crossplay. So you do it over on YouTube, because some have asked me that. Don't worry, nothing's changing. We're here. We're good.
The one thing that this allows us to broadcast to both Twitch and YouTube, and also get these wonderful little graphics that you see moving around here around us. It's really good stuff. So it's all a win-win situation, and it also makes us makes our show look nice, fancy, and nice. And how many other shows do you know that does both?
Yeah, exactly. Let's just be honest. So we want to welcome all you guys. Please spread the word. We already gained like 2 extra followers tonight, which is good. Hey, you start small, you build it up. Spread the word, please, man. Awesome, man. Throw down. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching and listening. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco. Tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
I'll see you later, guys.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
The Kuroko no Basket movie is out on the internet, so go watch it.
Brett Murdoch.
It's been real, party people.
Adam Vale.
Watch Lucha Underground. Tell me you watch that wrestling.
And Brian Manjoma.
Go buy GTA 5. It's not selling now.
Yes.
That was doing well at all.
Oh, man. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Later.
See ya.
Peace.
Peace.